Welcome to the One Player Podcast, the show on solitaire board games. I'm Albert, and this is episode 381.
Albert, conservation is no joke, so you'll be relieved to know that I don't have one today.
That's a relief. Yeah. Whew. Good thing, because, yeah, that's rough. All right, then, Julius. So you've set the tone for today's episode. This week, we're talking about a game called Conservas, which is a game about fishing and canning. And I think both of those are potentially full of puns and bad jokes. So we'll have to open it up and see.
Was that a joke?
Yes. It was a bad one, yes.
Oh.
Thank you.
Are there any crabs?
No. I don't think so. I don't know. There might be. I have no idea.
Because crabs are not very charitable. They're shellfish.
They're shellfish. You know, I'm curious now. I'm gonna check if there are crabs in this game or not because I have no idea. But
I know there's a bunch of fishy type things. I know crabs often go into that.
There's octopus. So let's talk about this game. Conservas. This is a game about fishing and canning. It's you're going into the ocean, you're fishing, and you bring your fish home and canning them and selling them out in the market. That's what the game is about.
And trying to make the most money?
And making it's solo, so you're definitely making the most money.
Well, is the goal to make the most money or to not kill the environment?
The goal is it depends. It's to make money and not kill the environment. So when you we'll get to the goals eventually. The goals is a little bit of everything.
Oh, okay.
So this is a game by Scott Almes. We know him. He makes a lot of solo games and solo variants. And this is a bag building game, which immediately brings to mind that other solo bag building game he made, Warp's Edge.
Yes.
Different though. But anyway,
there's actually a fair number of solo bag building games that he's been involved in. But yes.
Oh, really? Okay, I only know those two, I think.
Anyway. Well, we did Warp's Edge and we talked about that then, but I can't remember them right now.
Okay, good enough. Go back and listen to it, Julius, and then let us know next time.
Sure.
So Conservas, the name Conservas is I didn't know what it was, but apparently they're little tins that are popular in Spain and Portugal, full of seafood, and you could buy them, and they come in different varieties. So it's like you've heard of a tin of sardines, a can of sardines. You've maybe seen that before in a cartoon, maybe in real life, maybe not. That's what all they are. Apparently, they come in different varieties. Some are fancier, some are less fancy. You know, different mix of seafoods in there, maybe different type of oils that they're preserved in, whatnot. But it's basically preserved seafood in a can. Conserva in Spanish means to conserve, so hence the name. That's not something I knew, but I kind of remember fish in tins from when I was little. I think my dad would buy them occasionally. You know, I didn't grow up. I lived in Spain very, very briefly, and then we came to the U.S. I think that might be a tradition he had brought in, but it didn't last. I'd say thankfully, because my recollection of it was kind of icky. Then again, you know, I would have been 5, so.
No. So you're not a sardines type person?
No, not really. Mm-mm. It doesn't sound appetizing. It might be great, but yeah. I did try. I remember him trying snails. In Spain when we lived in Spain. So I remember him one time having a lot of snails, and I did not eat that. Anyway, we're on a tangent there.
Albert is just not courageous enough.
No, I'm not. Yeah, no. So let's just dive into this game and talk a little bit more about the components, maybe.
Sure.
Okay, it's a solo game I mentioned already. It's a small box. It's like 7x7, so sort of like those Cosmos 2-player games, like Lost Cities, that size box. What you get a striped bag, blue and white striped bag. Sort of looks very nautical. 116 wooden tokens, little round ones, but maybe about the size of a dime, maybe slightly smaller, but you know, thick like a wooden token. 20 of them are water; those are white. Then there's 30 sardines, 30 mussels, 20 scallops, and 16 octopus, or as I call them, blue, green, yellow, and pink. And you know that I've noticed that's something we talk about often. It's like the theme is nice, but really it's just the color that matters sometimes. So there's those tokens. There's cardboard money in the box. 1, 5, and 10 denominations. There's not enough of it, honestly. I have found that I've run out of money when I play the game.
I
I
mean,
wish
it's
there were
just
more
solo. You
10s.
can use just a dial to keep track of money.
Yeah, or you could just not worry about it once you reach a certain point.
But you just say you win.
If you've run out of money, yeah, you're winning,
Okay.
really. So, yeah. So anyway, we'll get more into that for sure. Cards. There's not too many cards. Something about a little less than 50, I think. 18 boats. When you're playing, you're going to be catching fish and you put them in your boats. So there's a deck of boat cards. You'll start with one boat, and you may buy more during the game. There's also 27 upgrade cards. There are different types of upgrades that you could get that give you different benefits throughout the game. All sorts of different effects. The back of the cards look like little cans of seafood that you might open up with a little tab in the corner and all that. Kind of neat looking, kind of weird, but kind of neat. I like the art on the cards. I like the art on the boats too. I think they all look very similar, but they're all different, and I think they look neat that way. I mentioned the cards. Okay, so there's a round marker. It's a little calendar date. No big deal. You'll use that as you're playing. Keep track of the rounds. There is a market book. The market book is a 12-page spiral bound book. Actually, I guess it's more than 12 pages. It's 24 pages because it's each month is 2 pages, right? It's a spread. Really, the only the right half of the 2 pages matters. The left half is just a picture that's seasonal because it's 1 page per month. So the picture in the winter, it's like a market in the wintertime. The picture in the summer is a summertime looking market. They're all pictures of that same market, just in different seasons and whatnot. The the right half of the page where all the real game is at, there's a large area on top that has all the marketplaces where when you sell stuff, you'll place them on there. On the bottom is a turn track marker, and there's also some rules on that page. Besides that, then there is an extra challenge sheet. If you find the game too easy, you could use this sheet with some variants to make it a little bit harder. And that's all you get in the box. Not too much. It's a relatively small game. I like the look of it. I think the components are really nice. I'm really happy with everything. The cards are larger size, like tarot size cards. The the wooden counters are all nice. The size is great. The bag works really well. It's not too small at all. It's a nice, comfortable size. The only complaint I would have, I think, is I wish there was more money, or maybe a few more tens or something like that would be nice. A lot of games, like your goal is to get 60 money, but there's only four tens. So after a while, you got to start getting fives. Whatever, that's fine, but I still find that annoying. I wish there was more tens. Anyway, that's it for components. Any comments on those?
Not so far.
Okay. Then, the rule book. The rule book, it's a pretty simple game. There's not much to the rule book. I think it explains everything really well. It looks fine. It it's all the rules are clear. It's perfectly adequate. Absolutely, I'd say no failings in it that I can think of whatsoever. So I'm happy with it. There is a reference in the back, but I never really use it. The game is simple enough you aren't going to really need it. Um, and then that brings us to the gameplay. No comments on the rulebook either, Julius?
I mean, yeah, no, not really.
Okay. Have I sold you in the game yet?
I'm looking forward to hearing more about the gameplay before we're hearing things about accurate.
Okay, well then gameplay. So it's a pretty simple game. It's a bag builder, right? So the setup is going to be easy. You're going to pick which month you play. There's 12 of them. The rules say, you want to start from the beginning and go to the end, but it's not at all a campaign game. You're more than welcome to just pick any month and play it. There's no progression from month to month in terms of how you're doing, though each month does play differently. The January will be being the first month will be probably a little bit easier and helpful for learning the game. Some of the later months tend to be trickier, but they all tend to be a little bit different anyway. So you may be in the mood for an October or an August just because you found that one fun. You're gonna pick your month. You're gonna open to that page. On the page, it's gonna tell you how to set up your bag. It'll tell you how many counters of each type go into the bag. Generally speaking, you're only using three different counters or maybe two types plus the water. I haven't got into any months where you use all four. I don't think there are any, but there might be one. And because there are different amounts of tokens per counter type, it does matter, right? There's more yellow than there is pink, for example. So if you have pink, you're just not going to have as much potential of filling the bag up with those. But anyway, you'll get the counters you need. throw them in the bag. It'll tell you how much money to start with. You then shuffle up all the boats. You draw two, you pick one, and you put the other into the bottom of the deck. You shuffle up all the upgrades, and then you're going to draw three upgrades and three boats and set them aside so that you could buy from those. That's your available stock there. Once you've done that, the only other thing you need to do is set up the round marker on the first space, and you're ready to begin the game. So it's very, very quick, very simple setup. It's probably worth talking a little bit about the boats at this point. I told you you're going to pick one of the two. So what's different about them? Each boat has a couple attributes that matter. One of them is how many fish you can catch on it. The bigger the boat is, the more it'll catch. It'll be between one and the most is five. It also has a cost, how much it will cost you to buy the boat. Note that when you start the game, the first boat is free, but any boats you get after that, you have to pay for in cash.
Like any good investment, the first one's free.
The free, yeah, that's how they get you. So the other thing about the boat is besides the cost and how much is owed, there's also an upkeep cost. Some boats are more expensive each month, and some are cheaper. The upkeeps range between 0 and I think I've seen 2, maybe 3, but I don't think I've seen a 3. I think the highest I've seen is 2. So if you have a boat that has a cost of an upkeep of 2, every at the end of every day you're gonna have to spend two money to just to keep that boat. If you can't afford it for some reason, you have to give up one of your boats or any that you can't afford. Okay, so now we're ready to play. So the way the game works, there's one thing I didn't mention at all. There's a deep sea card, I think it's called, or an open water card. You can have that when you start the game. It's just a card that you're going to put things that you could have caught onto it. When you start the game, you have your boat and the open water. What you do then during the game is you're going to put counters in on all those cards that are on all your boats, one of them right now, and the open waters. Each card is going to get 5 counters. So the way you play is you'll draw 5 counters from the bag and choose where to put them on the open water or on a boat. And then you'll draw another 5 counters and do the same thing again, choosing from whatever's left and keep doing that until all the cards are full. When you put them on a boat, you have a choice of putting them, you're drawing 5 and your boat's hold between 1 and 5 fish. So you're going to, however many holds, you have to put in the upper section that many counters in the boat, and the rest go into the water under the boat. So you potentially could have caught 5 fish. Maybe there was 3 yellow counters, a blue counter, and 1 water, and your boat can hold 2. Well, from those 5, you get to pick which ones you went through your nets and which ones just fell out. Ideally, you want to catch stuff because you want to sell in the market, and that's what you're doing. You're making money. So anyway,
I'd say it's pretty obvious that ideally you want to catch stuff.
Yes, that's right. So so you're going to do that. You're going to fill up all the cards with the counters. Once you've done that, that was the morning phase. Comes the daytime phase. Now you're selling fish to the market. You're spending from your boats. You're spending money to buy other boats potentially, and you're spending fish that you've caught to buy upgrades. The way you sell to the market, it depends from month to month. They're all a little bit different, but generally speaking, there's a bunch of spaces on the market board, and you pick which one you want to sell to, and it'll tell you, oh, this space needs 1 blue fish or 2 yellow or whatever it is. Maybe it's a combination of a blue and a pink. Whatever it is, you will sell those, put one in that space, and the other one goes back into the available pool of counters to add, not to your bag, but just to the available pool. And you will get money for that space. Now, it's worth noting in some months, you're welcome to pick any space that's on the board. Other months, there's a progression. I'll tell you, you have to start from left to right and then start from the top row and work your way down. Or maybe it'll say, pick any space you want to start at and spread out from there. There's one that you actually have to follow like a little bit of a maze, and you have to do them all in order. So it's very specific about what you could sell each time. But anyway, that was the daytime phase. That's all you're doing is selling fish, buying boats, and buying upgrades. Those are your choices. Potentially there's more things you could do in your turn if you have bought upgrades that'll give you abilities. For example, there's one that will let you, when you draw your 5 fish, you could choose to discard them or put them back in the bag and then draw 5 again in case you didn't like your first mix. So, but that'd be specifically because of the upgrade. That was the daytime phase. Finally comes the nighttime phase. In the nighttime phase, it's basically the cleanup phase. Any fish that are still in the boats that you weren't able to sell or do anything with get discarded. They're back into the available pool, not your bag, the available pool. Any water on your boats goes back into the bag. Any water on the cards in general go back to the bag. And all you have left on your cards is the fish that you didn't catch and were still in the ocean, whether it was in the open ocean or in the under your boat. You go through those, and however many fish are still out, you're able to add to the more to the bag. The way it works is you count for each color how many there are, and you add one less than that. So if across my boat and the open ocean there's 3 blue, I get to add 2 more blue to the bag. So this way I could catch fish, but anything I don't catch makes it more likely that there's fish in the future. Um, and that's where the other part of the conservas comes in, right? You're conserving fish and you're helping grow more fish in the ocean by not catching them. The You do that. You put all the counters that go into the bag back into the bag, which at this point would just be all these fish, and you pay any cost you have to pay for your boat. And the last thing you do is you refill the market spaces in case you bought any boats or you bought any upgrades. You fill them back up to 3. Once you've done that, advance the marker, go on to the next turn. That's the basic game. It's about number of turns varies, but I'd say about 7 or 8. Some might be some of the months might be a little shorter, maybe 6, but I don't think it goes anything shorter than that. That's the entire game. Super simple. Once you learn it, it's easy to follow and a lot of fun. I like the game a lot. I have a lot of fun playing it. I love the drawing bag is easy. It's very quick. I like that each time you draw, you have to think about where you want to put it. Do you want to put it on a boat or the open seas? Which counters you put on top? Which counters you put on the bottom? It's all really interesting and works really well. That being said, I think there's a few issues with the game. One,
I'm listening.
kind of a big one, is it's really easy. If once you've gotten a technique of the right way to do this, it is super easy. Uh, you might have to. Oh, and to win the game, when you finish the game, I should have told you this. It'll tell you how much money you have to have, and how many of each type of fish you need to still have in the bag available. And if you don't meet both of those criteria, you lose. Some of the months also say, oh, you have to own a certain number of boats or a certain number of upgrades. Some of the months are saying, oh, the number of fish in the ocean have to be between a certain range. So between 5 and 7. If there's less than 5 or more than 7, you lost. But besides that, it's just generally get above the number. There's also a difficult score. So if you get above the difficult one, which is harder, then you win the difficult mode. It's the same idea. The amount of money and the amount of each of the fish counters needs to be met. It's just a higher number for both. I was finding that when I played this game, in some of the months, I beat the high score immediately, and by tons. Like maybe I need to get 60 money, and I have over 100. And this is a case where I ran out of money because I got so much, and so I wasn't, at that point it didn't matter if I counted the money or not. So that I knew that I won. I just need to make sure I have enough fish in the ocean, and if I've done it right, I cannot add any more fish to the bag because they're already in the bag. So you kind of know you won, and it's like, well, I'll just don't even know if I need to go to that last round or not.
And I
You
assume
know?
you're confident that you're playing correct, right?
Yeah, there's not many. Actually, funny thing, I wasn't playing correct. Turns out that I had been actually playing one of the rules incorrectly and using one of the hard rules. so there's three suggestions to make the game harder if you find it too easy. One of them is when you start, you have to pay for the boat you choose. It's not free. So immediately you're taking money away that you have from that first round. The second one was when you catch the fish, if you catch, let's say you sell 3 fish to the market in one of the spaces, you put one fish marker on that space and the rest go back into the pool. If to make it harder, you just put them all on this space. So none of those are available anymore to buy. Potentially add back to the bag potentially. That's the rule I was doing incorrectly. I was already doing it where I would put them all on the market board and leave them there for the rest of the game. instead of putting some back into the pool. There's a third rule. I don't remember what that one is. I hadn't used that one. Oh, that if you how's it go? When you put when you're putting the markers on the boats when you're doing the fishing portion of the day, you have to catch at least one fish if there are any in the five counters in your hand. You can't choose to put all water out there in the boat and all the fish in the ocean. So that's the third one to make it harder. People have suggested other stuff to make it harder. Um, for example, starting with zero money. That's even slightly harder than the other option. Especially if, for example, you have a boat that has an upkeep cost that you're going to be paying at the end of the round. You have to start making money immediately. So there are things to make it harder, but I didn't try them all, but I still found the game a little bit too easy. Now, apparently, there's an expansion coming out, and the expansion definitely makes it harder. So that's nice. But if you're finding the game too easy, then you'll need the expansion, I think. Um, I think those are my thoughts about the game. I really like it. I wish it were harder. I do find that a little bit frustrating. Um, it reminds me a lot of what game it reminds me of. Kind of reminds me of the Legacy of You. That had the same sort of issue that the game, once you knew the technique, was really easy. It's also a solo game, and that one I found that once I started going, most of the games I won. I still had a lot of fun playing it, and I enjoyed it, and I'm happy to play it again. But I wish it were harder. Same thing here. The only thing I think this one is a simpler game, so I don't know if it'll have as much of a longevity for me as the other one, unless I get the upgrade. One thing, one thing I worry about, and I have so far played through. I'm up through August. I haven't played the last couple months, the last 3 months. In August is the first month where the number of fish you catch has to be within a range. I do not like that. I do not like having to worry about have I caught do I have too many in the bag or not. I like to
You
just
can't be too successful or you kill the environment, right?
yeah, and that's the thing, right? So they're saying August is it's kind of a lean month, so you need to make money, but you also want to make sure that the balance is really good, or things, the environment goes out of whack. And it tells you as you're playing, you need to make sure your bag doesn't fill up with too much of one type or something. And I found that, so I lost. I did lose this month actually. That's the first month that I lost a little while, and I found that that was happening to me where suddenly I was like, oh wow, there's just too many of this one type of fish in the bag. I kind of need to do something about that. So that was interesting actually. I've read anyway on BGG that the last 3 months are much harder than the rest. So that's a good thing. I haven't got into those yet.
Do you find that the later months are generally harder than the earlier months?
Yeah, it's a real thumb. Yeah, I mean the game gets, each of the months adds twists and stuff like that. They're not all harder, but they're all a little bit different, um, or at least even interesting. Like the one month where you choose the all the market spaces are in a grid and they're connected, and you choose where you start and you spread from there. I found that one really interesting, and I enjoyed playing that one. The one that it's a maze again was also interesting. Those were middle months. They weren't necessarily hard, but they were fun. Um, and it's just a mix. Some of them are pretty simple. Okay, and they're fun. The thing is, the game is really fast, so you're done quickly and you're able to play again. And yeah, it's a fun game to play. I wish it were harder, but it's a fun game to play.
And you're saying you wish
Apparently,
it was harder, but you haven't tried all the ways that make it harder.
I haven't tried them all. Yeah, that's true. But that's I feel like they shouldn't have been optional. I feel like they should have been straight up, in the rules from the get go. And apparently that was an issue. I was reading a thread about the difficulty, and Scott Almes chimed in on. He said that when they were making the game, that's something that they went back and forth on, and they worried it might be too hard or too easy. And in the end, this is the game they came up with. What it is it's more accessible, right? If you make it too hard, then there's a lot of people that are not going to be heavy gamers that are going to have more trouble with it. So I think
Mhm.
by what it is, maybe it's a cozy game because it's not so difficult always. It's you could play without really thinking about strategy too much and just have fun, and it's a light game. That might be the way to think of it. It's a cozy game. Actually, that's true. That didn't occur to me. I don't really think of cozy games too often. Maybe because I'm always cutthroat.
Albert is like the anti-cozy person.
That's right. Yeah. Go, go, go. That's me. No time for relaxing. Which, if you know me, it's actually pretty true. It's very hard for me to sit still. I'm always like, oh, got to start the next thing, whatever that is. So there we go, Julius. I don't know. Have I sold you?
Um, I'm actually still interested in it, yeah, because
Okay.
I do enjoy cozy games. We actually did
Mm-hmm.
find a copy of a different cozy game, um, which the name of it is not coming to mind, but it happens to also be a fishing game. I can
Mm.
actually give the name
Okay.
of it.
A fishing game. I can't think of any other fishing games offhand. There's the one that we did in the podcast a couple years ago, but that wasn't really a cozy game.
No, we haven't reviewed it yet. It's probably easier for me just to go look on my shelf. One moment while I look at my
Yeah.
shelf.
All
Trying
right.
to, trying to do a search.
Mm-hmm.
Aquacorn Cove.
Aquacorn Cove. It's about fishing for unicorns and catching unicorns.
A magical aquatic life spirit fairies called aquacorns. It's based on an already established lore from like a comic book or something. I'm not really sure. Because I haven't done that much digging into it. But it is also a cozy game where you don't really win or lose in that game. You just play to do as well as you can and have fun until the end.
So, a cozy game about slaughtering unicorns. That just
No,
doesn't sound right.
aquacorns and not slaughtering, encountering.
Oh, okay. So it's not a fishing game like this one, actually. You said it was a fishing game. I assume that means you're
It
like
is
catching
fishing.
them,
You are also fishing. You are
but you're throwing them
encountering the
back.
aquacorn coves, but you are fishing things like tuna and salmon and stuff like
Ah,
that.
oh, okay. Okay, maybe that's not so bad. Well, I do want to hear more about that one then.
Yeah, so it's not bad. Um, I enjoy it, but it's a cozy game. There's not really much challenge for it. I've enjoyed playing with my daughter, so I'm sure at one point in time we'll hear more about it. But the idea of it just being a cozy game where you can't win or lose, as long as the game is enjoyable to play, I
Yeah,
suppose I'm not too concerned about it. Um, but the
yeah.
difference is that this one is a game that you can beat. Aquacorn Cove is almost literally not. Like it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have it at the end of it you're like, well, here's the story of the town based on what it is that you did, and you can have better or worse, but none of them are lose conditions, just you can do better or worse.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't sound bad. Yeah, no, this one it's definitely you win. Well, so I mean, so when I play, I don't know if they suggest that you choose the difficulty that you're going to play for, but I just play and see how well I do, and I either lose or I win the normal difficulty or I win the difficult difficulty, the challenge mode or whatever it's called. But games like this, yeah, they're just fun to play. Sometimes the score doesn't matter. It's the same with like honestly with the beat your own score kind of games. I
Mm-hmm.
tend not to really compare how I did before. I'll play and it may say, oh, your goal is 50, but see how you did and see if you beat a previous score or not. And when I tend to play games like that, I'm just like, let's see if I hit 50 or not, and if I beat a previous score or not, kind of doesn't matter one way or the other.
Yeah, that is absolutely how it goes.
Yep. All right. So this was a game, full of opportunities for puns, and it didn't really happen. Uh,
It's because I was listening too much, Albert.
I guess so. I mean, I feel like this is the one that just got away.
Yeah. Were you running too hard after the shellfish? Did you pull a muscle?
I pulled a muscle, yes. Oh, there are muscles here to pull too, aren't there? Oh, lots of muscles. Okay, Julius. Until next time, then.
All right, Albert. May the
All right.
fish treat you well. May your nets be full of catch.
Alrighty. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good evening. Thanks for listening. We love feedback, so we love hearing from you. You can reach me at julius@oneplayerpodcast.com or JLBird on BGG, and Albert can be reached at albert@oneplayerpodcast.com or Fractalud on BGG. Our website is oneplayerpodcast.com with the number 1, and we're also on Twitter at oneplayerpodcast. The intro music is copyright Angus, can be found at jamendo.com. The transition music is copyright by Dan El Duce Pancaldi, whose page is at donpancaldi.com. The One Player Podcast is protected under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Thanks for listening.